Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, you. Oh, hold on. I can't hear myself. You are watching live day trading with me, Speculator Seth. We are trading Treasury futures. It's big boy stuff. And by the way, if you're watching this on replay, go ahead and hit that like button right now. And subscribe if you already haven't, because if you subscribe and hit the bell icon, it's a lot easier to find the stream when we are live. Also, I have accounts on social media, so go and find Speculator Seth on Facebook and Twitter. I would love to interact with you guys there when we're not on stream. So, to the markets, we've had a little bit of a fall down. We were up at 129.13 yesterday. Let's go to the chart. And you can see here the E-mini moving up a pretty good clip overnight. In fact, it looks like they're going to open at new highs again. Can you believe this? This rally just does not end. But like I've been saying, do not short a dull market. I think, this whole thing is set up to blow up. I mean, look at this move that we had yesterday. We're actually still a little bit above here in the 10-year. We're still a little bit above where we were yesterday in the 10-year. And I think, any kind of quick move up, you wanna join it, because I'm not so sure that the trade war is going well. But until something really happens, this could just continue up. So that's where we're at. I'm looking at the news here. Hold on, let me pull it up for you guys. Would like to pull it up for you guys. One thing that I wanted to look at right away is Home Depot cuts 2019 forecast after sales miss and shares crater. Let's read. What were those numbers? Home Depot shares tumbled Tuesday after the company once again cut its 2019 forecast and also reported same-store sales shares were well below estimates. The company said revenue, which also missed analyst targets, was hurt by investments in its making its was hurt by investments it is making in its business. Good grief. Is it just too early? Can I not read? What the heck? Okay, down 5% in pre-market trading. Oh, that's really bad. That is really bad. So what did they get? It was 2.53 earnings per share versus 2.52 expected. That's not that bad. And revenue was 27.22 versus 27.53. Same store sales growth 3.6 versus 4.7. Well, that's really interesting, because those numbers alone do not sound awful. But the growth is bad. So, of course, that is definitely going to affect them. And, estimates of the future are always going to spook people. But I kind of wonder if, we've kind of had some interesting times lately. It wouldn't surprise me if these estimates are a little too pessimistic. Of course, I guess, like everything else, it kind of depends on if they ever get a trade deal here, right? Okay, well, with the way that things are right now, I would have to say that the pressure is down, but for the moment, we're going up. It was a little bit of a spike there. Here comes the open. We're on time today, so we can see the open. Isn't that great? Okay, so here on the open, we did see a bunch of asks put on. Kind of added and removed, which is kind of interesting. But not actually volume on the open. By the way, we should also come in here and check What do we have on the calendar? Okay, so we have building permits and housing starts starting at 6:30 my time, so in 10 minutes. And then at the top of the hour, we have FOMC member Williams speaks. Let's read about that. Due to speak at the Capital Markets Conference sponsored by the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association in Washington, D.C. Audience questions are expected. Okay, so that's always can make things a little difficult for us in treasuries when there's that sort of a thing going on. By the way, guys, already 3 likes. Thank you very, very much. I'm thinking today, if we could get 15 likes. Yesterday we got 15 likes, but after the stream. If we could get 15 likes on today's video, I would be super stoked. Just remember, nothing helps our community grow more than hitting that like button and then commenting on the videos afterwards. I mean, there's the live chat, right? But after this video is done, it takes about an hour for YouTube to reprocess it, and then it posts it as a regular video that you can watch on replay. And then at that point, you can go in and comment on the video. And if you comment on the video, it significantly increases engagement, and it helps drive a lot more people to the videos and grows our community. So I greatly appreciate it. Well, I don't know if we're going to be taking any trades here, because that was the deadest open I think I have ever seen. Let's see here. Let's come into Discord and see what people are saying in Discord. Alligator. He says that it's slow. Oh, man. Well, we could have a little bit of fun here. Oh, I know. Hold on. I need to eat a little bit. I don't know what my deal is, but, you know, I'm a little ADHD, and maybe sometimes when I'm tired, I don't know. I didn't sleep very good Sunday night, but last night I felt like I slept pretty good. But I still had trouble getting myself moving in the shower. So I have 2 bites of food here. Hold on a second. Well, this is an interesting setup that we're getting here. I highlighted a couple of numbers on the DOM. There was some pretty big icebergs in both of the 10 and the 5-year on the offer. 3,000. They really shoved it up through it. Bunch of market orders came through. And now they're ticking into 08.5. And there's some big offer up at 09. Some stacking. Ooh, okay, so there was 1,000 on the bid. Oh, those are far away. So some big stacks though. Polling on both the bid. On both the bid and the ask. There's actually quite a bit of activity from large orders here. I'm wondering though, the overall pressure has been down for the night, and maybe they are kind of forcing it up to get filled short. I'm reading here. Helican says, well, you have the E-mini for trades. I mean, you mostly trade ZN, but I've seen you take some trades in the MICO. Exactly. So we could totally take one in the E-mini, although I'm a little nervous about taking them if we take one in the E-mini, I think that we just got to take the 20 potential, the 2 points potentially, because I mean, it continues to point up, and there might be a lot of fighting and that sort of a thing again,
Uzi Knesset says very tepid open. Played it safe, only 2 ticks before the news disappointed face.
So did you actually buy it and you caught 2 ticks on that, huh? Well, that's still impressive. How did that's a little interesting. I wonder how Uzi decided to go long, if that's what happened. Because the overnight is short. In fact, let's be here before the news here in 2 minutes. Let's reload all of our levels, huh? There we go. There's been actually a lot of action in this area before it seems. Levels. And right here. Yeah, I think the changes that we made to our DOM so that we can see these orders over here on the left, I think it was a good thing. I'm happy we did that. Well.
Uzi Knesset says big 400 contract buy at 806 made me long.
That was a long time ago. Okay. In fact, I don't even think I can. Oh no, I can see. I can see it. Yes, okay. Sure. Well, it certainly turned the cumulative delta around, especially in the 5-year. Look at that. Oh, that's really interesting.
Uzi Knesset says there was an effort to keep prices above 200 mega amperes 20 minutes, so that helped too.
I did not notice until now. This thing in the 5-year. I mean, all of them are moving up, but when you look at it in the 5-year, it's extremely significant. And look, it was a really dead overnight session. And then this happened. That's almost 4,000 contracts. Okay, so maybe 4,000 isn't a ton, but it only moved up like 3 ticks. But that could perhaps adjust more. I don't know. Good morning, Lucas.
Lucas says at UZI interesting.
Well, let's pull up a tweeter. Yeah, so we don't need to pull back down the stream. It's not necessary. Okay, so here comes the news. Not seeing much of a reaction to it yet. I haven't gotten the numbers yet. Okay, so manufacturing sales from Canada was negative spot 2 versus an expected negative spot 5. So I suppose that's good, although that might not matter. Housing starts 1 spot 31 million. versus an expected 1.32, so slightly under expectation, but well within range. And building permits 1.46 million versus an expected 1.39. So the building permits were actually good, and they ticked up. And there's some strong stacking. I've seen this before, folks. This is the slow move up for no reason. And look, reloading at 08.5. Five-year a little thick though now. It looks like
Uzi Knesset says looks like I'll regret it lol.
you'll regret taking it off. You can always get back in. Look, you could get in at 25.
Wrong ZH says morning.
I'm thinking here that we might want to do one of these. Hey, good morning, Wrong. How have you been? The delta in this bar is actually negative because of the iceberging at 08.5. If they end up ticking up after this, that would be really significant. I can see the E-mini kind of turning down too. That's very interesting. Oh, the date is wrong on my YouTube link, says Bromide. Thank you very much. Let's fix that. Yeah, let's fix that. Okay. Today is the 19th. Why did it give me a beep there when I took that order? Oh, okay. It was only sending that to me because it was having a problem with the Jigsaw data. Sometimes Journalytics is not responsive. They might have been doing something with it. Well, let's switch everything back over here. So they did take it. That's about as good as you would expect for taking it as she goes.
Uzi Knesset says I managed the trade well at least, lol. When it got to +2 I put the stop at break even. Then the offer started to absorb a bit so I limited out.
I would like to see more aggressive, pulling in orders hitting into 09.5 and the same at 20.25. So, not good take, but not continuation afterwards. My wrist is inflamed. I think that I need to do something about this. I hurt my knuckle there. And I think it's causing inflammation in my arm.
Air Cages says hello.
Yeah. Hey, Air Cages, welcome back. Okay, so they take it down at 09.
Uzi Knesset says decent call though overall face with tongue.
Yeah, well, for 2 ticks and given the context and everything, I'd say that was a really good call. I'm wondering how much of it, what you were reading, was really important and how much of it was just kind of luck of the draw, but it was a pretty good trade. Okay, so there is some stacking at
Air
20
Cages
quarter.
says my BTC short still looking good.
Dude, yeah, so I was just about to say, pull up the Bitcoin chart, man. It just keeps going down. Well, they were going down yesterday too, weren't they? But they're pushing that 8 now. It's starting to look like a squeeze, isn't it? Which kind of makes me wonder if it's a squeeze, how much further down do they need to push before they start, hitting the stop orders? How far down do they have to push to make people panic? I don't know. I just know that they're so 7,300 was kind of where that last low was. It might just be profit taking from the big move up to 9,800, of course. But still, I've been quite impressed there, Cages, with your what is the word? Tenacity? Like holding a short like that in Bitcoin would scare the hell out of me, and you've held it and you've been confident with it the whole way. Of course, don't fly too close to the sun. Huh? Don't let the hoopers get to us, but so far it looks like an excellent call. And this whole time we've had other people coming into the channel saying, oh, Bitcoin looks like so strong. I would totally buy it here. They can't get below 8,500. They can't get below 8,000. That's what they're getting. He's going to come in here. You watch. He'll come in here in like 5 minutes. Hey, Bitcoin looks really strong. They can't seem to get below 8,000. I think I'm going to buy it here. What's going to happen? Okay, so now 1,000 has bought into 20.25 in the 5-year. But now the level 2 finally flipped in the 5-year. Now they're going back and forth. See, so I did good by catching the edge. I totally caught the edge. That was a really good edge catch there. Okay, but it appears that this is some sort of a distribution area, which is not necessarily optimal, we should say. I don't know, it's necessarily seen. Okay, so there was the buy into 09.5. Oh man, look at the flow. Okay, so now I'm seeing in 9,999,999. So that looks like some sort of a buy robot in there. Here again, Jigsaw giving me the little belly. Attempted to send data to server 3 times with error, will not send for 5 minutes. So that's talking about journalytics for sure. Okay, good adjustment there. Good stack. This is interesting trade.
Air Cages says lol, I said my target is 6K but I'm getting a bit anxious. A squeeze could get messy.
Yeah, totally.
Uzi Knesset says damn it lol.
I mean, if in Bitcoin, if I saw any kind of stop run, I would be watching the order flow for some absorption down there.
Lucas says it's a database error, I believe. Did you verify database?
Oh, could it be? Maybe when we get out of this trade, we can look at that. Thank you, Lucas. Okay, so now they're hitting into 10, and there's a big iceberg there. Whoa, what? Okay. So, I have to say, something is up, for sure. I mean, they just traded 6,000? 6,000 bought and sold. I mean, it was mostly, I would say, 6,000 buy orders, like 4,000 bought into this, and then 2,000 put on the
says I was long at
bid.
23 in ZB. Crying face.
And they held it. But why would that many orders be willing to trade through here? And this was where I was saying I've seen this before. I haven't seen it in a long time though, and I'm still a little skeptical, and I'm sitting here thinking maybe I'm expecting too much, but I have seen this where you will kind of have the context for nothing to happen, and then you end up getting a trend out of nowhere anyways.
Michael XC says I am still long from 22.
And with that degree of order flow coming in and buying it, you've got to wonder what is up. But at the same time, we don't know of any reason for it to move. So why would they buy it so aggressively? We should be cautious.
Uzi Knesset says at Michael XC, are you playing my strat? Astonished face. Lucas says at UZI, if you still were, I would look to maybe take it off around here.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that I had taken it off at 10, perhaps. Because, I mean, they held that price really, really well. Okay, so here's some iceberging at 09.5.
Uzi Knesset says at Lucas, yeah, that's a good call.
I mean, the gist of it is that we're getting some distribution here. It's actually kind of some distribution in an area where I would expect it to run. Oh, look, they took it again. Good grief. So are they going to hit into the 20.75 though in the 5-year? Also, the E-mini is not looking so hot, is it? Oh, this is super interesting, guys.
Raja Harnett says GM long from 24 zettabytes.
Why did it say zettabytes? That's funny. I don't think that it's ever said it like that before. But Raja caught it from 24, and that's also a really good catch. Well, that's about, oh no, that would have been like 08 for me. So.
Raja Harnett says took some off at 29, holiday a runner stop at scratch.
Okay, so there's another tick up at 10.5. This is, okay, so at 10, there's
Lucas
a stack.
Lucas says OOHHH.
Now, if they aggressively take this next one too.
Uzi Knesset says at Lucas 28.29 would be the safe play on the long at 8.20, but hell, she might still go lol.
This is really interesting, isn't it? Well, now that 10.5 is almost 3,000. There's still 1,300 on 21 in the 5-year. They haven't hit it yet. There's Jigsaw whining again. It probably is a database thing.
Lucas says yes, it looks really aggressive.
I'm just noticing here, Trading Floor Audio saying U.S. cash equity markets called to open higher. This move perhaps could just be a call on the E-mini needing to come back to the previous day's open. Because honestly, when you look at the news,
says I just played it too safe and minimized a good trade lol oh well.
When you look at the news, like, you know, the CNBC homepage is not particularly optimistic. It's like, ooh, Home Depot shares crater, right? And we're opening it on new all-time highs. How is that? So maybe we're just moving up because the E-mini needs to come down a bit. I don't know. But they're holding here. We're at +4 and they're holding a good bit at +4. I thought that maybe they were going to do the fishy business where they stack and they're trying to force you out.
Uzi Knesset says, but at Michael XC is rocking it, so that's good lol grinning face with big eyes.
Sorry, not force you out, but, you know, trying to get people to FOMO in. Also, by the way, we're not quite to, well, so for a new swing high here in ZB, it would be 159. Okay. They haven't traded 159 yet. But we are still...
says so is Seth. Good too. Get some views on the win lol.
There's still about 1,000 contracts short in cumulative delta. So the ZB suggests that there are some big people to stop out here if they decide to trade like 159.02. Okay, well they did take a tick back. Okay. Oh,
Lucas says up already breaking highs. IQ says 59 just hit CB.
No, they're letting it come back too easily, guys. Well, actually, they didn't actually, really, did they? Because there was that held. Now they're trading 10.5. We'll see if they. Well, okay, maybe not. That would be funny if all they gave was 2
Michael
ticks back
XC
and then
says, okay,
higher.
I chickened out.
He chickened
Uzi
out.
Knesset says at Michael XC 59.01 is yesterday's VAH, so look out for potential stopping point there. Michael XC says at 30.
Well, I think we had this same kind of a situation happen to us yesterday. Although the
Uzi
trend
Knesset
wasn't
says
nearly
baller
as
trade
strong,
bro.
was it? Baller trade. It was okay. If they let us out here, come on. Let me out,
Uzi Knesset says you did what I should have, haha.
Yeah. Well, I like the way I got in on that. When I get in with a stop limit order and it works, and I never had a tick against me, that makes me happy. That makes me very happy. If you want an example of catching the edge, that was it, man. But will they let me out? I think that +4 would be good.
Uzi Knesset says he pulled 8 ticks on ZB. One contract is $250
Oh, yeah,
in less
that
than
is-
30 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
8
not an
ticks on
okay
ZB is
trade.
good.
That's an amazing day, lol.
8 ticks on ZB
Popularity
is
Matters
good.
says that is trading in the kingdom.
We're talking about Raja, right? Mr. Harnett. Which is, I'm not entirely sure if that's a new name today. I was thinking like, oh, I think that's a new name. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, no, but didn't he say a few things like a day or two ago? So it's kind of like ever since this last tick and I put that order in, the flow is like
Uzi
completely died
Knesset
out.
says all I know is I hope at Michael XC trade was live, lol.
Well, he says I chickened out at 30. Oh, but what? So he caught where was it? 22 to 30. So he did catch 8. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, so he caught 8. Raja caught 6. There's Jigsaw whining again. Okay. A 5-year not exactly cooperating with me at the moment. I'd say, I'm not happy that we're not getting many orders to fill me. Okay, that's good.
Uzi Knesset says he was in at 22, he said. 22 was the first print on the 820 candle. I was a little slow myself cause the action was a chunky and I hit at 23.
Okay. Anyways, it's kind of died down here, but I mean, where's the sell orders, man? After a move like that, you would expect to see some profit taking, I suppose and we are seeing that here. But are there any market sell orders? No, I mean that tick down at 11.5 was 1460. And you have to ask yourself, what's the driver for this?
Uzi Knesset says in ZB they look like they chilling on the offer, big heavy bros being patient higher.
Yeah. See, I don't think this is the high of the day. For sure. I'm just seeing distribution, so I'm trying to get out, right? Because we've seen this, we had this yesterday, and I don't want it to come back to 10 or 09.5, and then that turn into the range, I would prefer to be nimble, but I am at this moment thinking that today could be a trend day up. There's something is up. Like, I do not see the context for them to be moving up as strongly as
Uzi
they are.
Knesset says you played it right. Grinning face with big eyes.
Thank you, Uzi. Thank you, Uzi. Yeah, this is stay frosty.
Air Cages says stay frosty, Seth.
Well, I think the thing that we need to be careful about here is getting all FOMO now.
Uzi
right?
Knesset says don't need to get too greedy.
Yeah, exactly. Because what they're gonna do?
Wrong ZH says me too.
What they're going to do? Let's assume this is a trend day.
IQ says I am waiting on PP and ZB now.
If this is a trend day, then what they're going to do is they're going to be like, oh, hey guys, we're going to go for a new high. And then go move down 4 ticks on no volume. And you're like, what the? Oh, as soon as I get in, then you take it down?
Gary Rich says pile of poo victory hand.
Oh, Gary, that was great. By the way, no, we won't do it today. I want to do some programming.
Knesset says you'll get confirmation on whether or not it's a trend day, I imagine, after the equity open.
Yeah, that's a good point. Timing-wise, well, so let me back up. When you get the out of nowhere trend day, it starts right at 6:30, and that is exactly what we saw. Was from the beginning of the session, they've been buying it. It's pretty much been straight up since the regular session open, and there has hardly been any negative sell volume at all. I mean, this whole thing, okay, maybe 20,000 sold on during that move up. So maybe I'm a little bit wrong. But it's just been straight up. So now you might see a little bit of sideways until the E-mini open, and then we might get another leg. And I would suspect that the leg would be higher, but that's always a little bit harder to call, right?
Says 820 to 920 sets the pace, 930 adds or subtracts the steam because then everything starts tracking S.
Yes, exactly. So like if they come out and ES goes, all right, we overdid it, it's time to sell, then treasuries could really move. And honestly, we're still mostly just kind of, I mean, so far this has actually kind of been a mean reversion trade, right? We've kind of moved back to where we were yesterday.
Uzi Knesset says you'll get your rally then lol.
Yeah. But I mean, if there's it could just be mean reversion and they're moving back to where they were yesterday. But the force of the move strongly suggests that it's more than that. So if it's more than that, yesterday was like what? The high was like 15 or something? Yeah, the high was 14.5. Okay. So 14.5 there. And then you can see the big order at 15 waiting there. And then there's one at 18. And by the way, look at the DOM. This is kind of interesting because I'm writing an article right now about large orders. And one of the things that I was talking about is that on a trend day, it's common to see something where you'll see a big order, and they'll come up to it and take it. And then there's another big order. And then there's another big order. And you'll see if we get up to here, that 18 will be a lot bigger. It'll be like 3,500. And when you look at it on the downside, okay, well, there's the 6 from the last swing. But then beyond that, it's kind of dull until you get to 26.
Says today's 820 to 920 candle doing the same as yesterday from a volume structure perspective. Push up into a distribution. The structures are almost identical.
Okay. Well, yesterday though was there was news that pushed us up there, right? Breaking: Sweden drops rape investigation into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. That's interesting. Blaine, it makes me wonder where all of the
Uzi
liquidity
Knesset says I have a volumetric chart up that only plots that 820 to 920 candle. Lol.
Oh, really?
Ace Trade says morning.
Hey, good morning, Ace. So let's see what Ace thinks about this setup, because we had a pretty strong uptrend in the treasuries there. So when we get a move like that in the treasuries,
Uzi Knesset says morning Ace.
It's not uncommon to see the E-mini follow later. So tell me this. Okay, he is looking for a move.
Ace Trade says looking at a short at 3,127.75.
Okay. So I've already made a good trade today, so I'm going to be a little I'm going to kind of buy my time because if I take another trade, I want it to be a good one. I do like the trade in the E-mini. It's just, I don't, well, 127.7.5 was previous day's high. Was it? No. Oh, yeah, it was. Okay. So we're at previous day's high. That could be a short. We got filled. Oh, yeah, by the way, what were we saying about database? Oh, so do I do repair DB on start? And then we'll close it down and restart it. And maybe that'll fix the problem. Did Nancy Pelosi really say this? I'm looking at Donald Trump's tweet from 8 hours ago. Nancy Pelosi just stated that it is dangerous to let the voters decide Trump's fate. I don't think that she actually said that. Yeah, there's even Nancy's not that dumb. Sorry. I'm sorry, but even Nancy's not that dumb. I don't think she actually said that. Okay. Well, it says database repair successful, but it's still giving that error. That could just mean that Jigsaw's having a day. Or not Jigsaw Journalytics. Okay, so there's 10.5. Where did I take my trade? It was 09. So taking it off at 11, I think it was good. They're stacking on the offer now. I don't know. Maybe that whole run was, just mean reversion, and we're getting too excited, guys. I don't know. I mean, you're getting pretty good stacks on the offer. Look at that 3,400.
Lucas says morning.
I mean, that could just be a trick for them to try and get fills at 10. But with the volume that we had, I would suspect
Ace
that
Trade
you would...
says at Lucas at UZI Knesset morning.
Why would you want to, I would be afraid to put up an order that big because somebody might actually take it, Okay, well, I was going to get into something else. What was it? I don't even remember, guys. I'm just happy to have a winner. That's cool. 2 days in a row, plus 4. That's good. What would that put? No, we're not going to count our chickens. Maybe later. But, now let me pull up this. Oh, yes, I remember what it was now. Okay, so Blaine, I have no clue who that is, says, it makes me wonder where all of the liquidity the Fed is pumping is going. Okay, let's read a little bit of this story.
Popularity Matters says GOP keeps spreading. You can't impeach during election cycle. You can't impeach when a president has done a good job. It's a stupid argument. Doing well in one area doesn't absolve wrongs in another.
You're totally right. No, I 100% agree with you. Popularity matters. The only thing that matters to impeachment is whether or not the president did something that, based on what is written in the Constitution, justifies impeachment. Now, maybe what he should say is you shouldn't. You shouldn't impeach during an election cycle. You shouldn't impeach when a president has done a good job. Like the whole thing that I see here is that Democrats are impeaching. Why is 09 only 1487? the Democrats are starting impeachment hearings, and based on what we've seen so far, it seems to me that it was a very ill-advised decision. They were gunning to impeach him from day one. I remember reading stories before he was president about how maybe he should be impeached, and I think that they just they encouraged too much, and they kind of got their voters into this frenzy where they had to. Out, that was crap. Whatever just happened. Yeah, I think that
Ace Trade says out
something
that was
might have
crap.
just
Whatever
come
just
in.
happened.
I think something might have just come in there, Ace, because that was a pretty strong up move, wasn't it? And the treasuries are coming back really fast. I am so glad that when I saw distribution, I just took it. That is exactly why you do that, guys. It's like, if you're gonna, I want to take one swing, right? Here's a swing, 12 tick swing. I was able to take 4 ticks out of it, okay? If you catch a swing and you see distribution and you stay in it, you better be really effing sure that it's going to be a trend day. Because otherwise you get this, oh, maybe I can take +1. No, oh no, now it's at break even. This is what happened to me, like, what, last Friday? You remember that? It's been doing this a lot. In fact, I've been noticing that it's like, I'll get +4, 4 or 5, and then it'll come completely back. Anyways. Yeah. The impeachment is interesting, but to be honest, I really thought that Democrats were going to have more. Like, I thought that it was going to be super negative, and they were going to have all of these people saying what he said, and that it was a quid pro quo, and that Republicans would have to admit that, yes, he did that, but the president's allowed to do that.
Popularity Matters says, I think they killed themselves with Russiagate. This impeachment inquiry would have been stronger if they didn't get hopes so high on Russiagate. All steam is gone.
That's a good point, too. Anyways, back to this QE thing. I'm just a question out there to put out there, and maybe we don't know the answer to this, but just something to ponder. So they're saying, oh, the Fed is pumping all of this liquidity into the market, and they're doing a repo operation where there's like 60 billion every day or something like that. Okay. But the question is, isn't this like an overnight loan? Isn't that just like they give the $60 million for them to do their operations today, and then they go away, right? But does that mean that there are some banks that collectively are about $60 billion short on money, and if it wasn't for the Federal Reserve, would be failing right now? I think my understanding of the way that this works is that's what could be happening. Is they have the assets, but they don't have the cash. And if it wasn't for somebody to loan them the cash, they would not be able to carry out their operations. So when people say that the Federal Reserve is pumping all of this much money into the system, is that really what's happening? I don't think that it's like they're adding $60 billion every day. I think that they add $60 billion and then at the end of the day, it comes back off.
Gary Rich says it's dollar funding due to dollar shortage for dollar-denominated debt.
Yeah. Now, here's another thought related to this. Remember when this was happening and we were saying, well, maybe it's because of X, Y, and Z. And one of the big things that I was thinking of was that there's a lot of Europeans out there buying American debt.
Gary Rich says I'm not joking. No,
you're right. You're right. This is kind of funny. You know, the language of it is funny. But if it was Europeans that were sucking up all of the dollars and that's why we were having such a shortage, well, then when they all dumped this money after they thought that Brexit was going to happen, then shouldn't the shortage be over with? And yet that doesn't seem to be the case, does it? And in fact, from what I've read, the move down had much more to do with people that were holding treasuries taking off They were holding them because they were certified commodity asset traders. That kind of a strategy, and they had to hedge themselves against the dollar, and so that's why they held the treasuries. That makes sense, and the data that I saw in that Zero Hedge article did seem to make a strong case that significant amount of the CTA, the move down was the CTAs, but I would think that some of it was Europeans as well. But did they just not take it off? Or was it have nothing to do with the Europeans? Did it have everything to do with one particular bank just being really desperate for cash? And if it really was one particular bank, then which bank is it? You would think that by this point, with this still going on, that the market by now would have been able to sniff out who it is, and yet we see nothing about it. So, that whole situation, I think, is really interesting. Okay, so now here that we're at
Michael XC says one particular bank equals DB.
Deutsche Bank, yeah. Could be. But I saw some stories that, speculating that it was JP Morgan. Can you believe that? But it might not. It could be a bunch of smaller banks that nobody's ever heard of, for all we know. This action right here at 09.5 is suggesting that you could take a long here again. There's a bunch of clicking here. And it's 707. So often you will see kind of a spike as they get out ahead of the E-mini open. It's too early for that. So they might be flipping it around. I don't like the idea of taking a trade at 707 though. So I think we will just kind of wait.
Michael XC says I heard that the other banks don't trust one major unnamed European bank. DB. Gary Rich says when the curve's inverted temporarily it put pressure on the funding cost. Remember 5/30ths broke out spread wide. The bond MKT always sniffs these out first.
Okay. Well, on that note, something that we have seen over the past 2 days is that the 2 and 10 has flattened considerably again. It's going down. I don't think that they're anywhere close to like, inversion like they were. Yeah, you would need to have another 2 or 3 legs down for there to be inversion, but it's definitely going the other direction. They're at least seeing the possibility of it inverting again. This is my take. Man, I don't know what I did, but like my whole arm here, it's like my thumb all the way down is just sore, and I'm like trying to like rub it and everything, and it's just not. There's just like inflammation in it for some reason, and I have a little sore on my finger, and it doesn't hurt a ton, but it is a little bit red. You can barely see it. It's a little bit red. I'm wondering if that's related. But I'm also wondering if maybe I just browse my phone too much. Like maybe my thumb is getting tired from scrolling. You get that? You ever get like you use your phone too much? See, at work it used to be that to do just about anything, I had to get on the phone. Now you can view Reddit at work, which is helpful because I can't tell you how often I'm searching for something and the answer is on Reddit, and then I have to pull out my phone to find out the answer. Oh, I hate that. That's so annoying at work. But they unblocked Reddit, which is nice. Okay, so maybe we had bought it on 9.5. Let's see. Let's just pretend that we did, and let's see if this trade took off. Does 10.5 pull out of the way? That order has kind of followed it down, hasn't it? Yes, it has. You can actually see quite clearly here how it's kind of followed it down. It was up here, and now it's kind of moved down here. It actually got a little bit lighter as they've ticked up into it, but it's still. Oh, and the cumulative delta actually came almost not all the way back, but In the 10-year, it came all the way back. Well, 30-year, it didn't. 5-year, it didn't, but in the 10-year, it did. And then there was this spike, big guy buying it, maybe. Downtick, though. 09.5 again? You gonna trade that? It's almost, from that perspective, it kind of makes you wonder. It was actually pretty quiet up here when we had the top. Kind of makes you wonder if this move up was just so that they could get short. I don't know. So some other things I wanted to, let me show you guys something here. Let me find this. What was it? What was her name? Oh man. Now I have to go back and find it.
Ace Trade says another short at 3,128.50, but too close to open. Gary Rich says yes, just a short time ago July it widened, the Fed cut rates, added liquidity to calm down the panic, temporarily, see how fast the 10 years backed up from 1.4 to 1.95%, huge moves, in short time.
There we go. What was his name? No, it's a Johann. Okay, so there's this guy named Johannes Bartel. Johannes Bartel. Where is he? Oops. Oh my gosh. I tried to do and copy and paste, and it like pasted this whole thing. Okay. This guy. So here's this guy. His name is Johannes Bartel. Okay. You're going to enjoy this guy. This is freaking hilarious. Right. Okay, here he is. He is Amanda Cerny's boyfriend. And Amanda Cerny is like some actress of some sort. Some famous actress of some sort. Okay. And I'm just looking at like some of these pictures. I mean, he kind of looks a little bit like me. Okay, he's got bug eyes, and our noses are similar enough. I think his face, if I come here and look, I think that my chin is not as square as his. His chin is probably like out to here, right? Obviously, he's way more ripped in the upper body department, right? But I'm looking at some of these pictures. Okay, that one maybe. That one maybe. That's, I don't know. You know, he's definitely got the eyes, right? And then there was this one. Where was it? Was it this one right here? I'm like, holy crap, that looks like me. Does that not look like me? That is like, from that perspective, man, holy crap. That is not Johannes. That is a picture of me sleeping with Amanda Cerny. That's what that is, guys. That's what, like, when I saw that, I was like, is that looks like that's me. It kind of was a little scary. Somebody pointed this out to me in Discord. I was like, what?
Gary Rich says lol, Seth social stalking.
Oh, I'm totally stalking him now. No question about it. I'm like, I followed him.
Says don't let you wife see you snuggling that leopard print girl.
Right. I mean, Amanda Cerny doesn't look too terribly different from my wife. My wife doesn't have high cheekbones like that, unfortunately. See, I'm thinking she's kind of got, she's got interesting eyes.
Wrong ZH says, what is this?
This is my doppelganger. This is my evil twin. I'm probably the evil twin, to be honest. Look at this guy. Does he look evil to you? Does he look, honestly, does he look evil to you? He doesn't look evil to me. So I must be the evil one. But we do look pretty similar. But no, my wife has a very interesting and unique face. But when you go by conventional beauty standards in society, people tend to like high cheeks, and she doesn't really have high cheeks. Maybe I can show you that.
Gary Rich says Sethi is your mini-me.
No, I almost guarantee. I mean, I don't know how tall he is. He looks like he's
Ace Trade
taller than
says
me.
fine, pull the shirt, let's see those abs.
Oh yeah, I don't have abs like that at all. No joke. I was kind of wondering. I was like, so he looks to me like maybe he's 5'11", but cameras can be really deceptive, you know. So I don't know, but we could compare squats. I have decent legs. I don't really train my upper body. So one of the funny and counterintuitive things about Olympic weightlifting is we don't really train our upper body very much, particularly the chest. We barely train the chest at all. But man, and here's another one. Like I'm just it looks like me, man. That looks like me. Does that not look like me? Especially from the side. From the side, you could not tell us apart, I don't think. And it's not just like we're both bald and we have the same beard style. It's like the nose is kind of similar and the eyes are pretty similar. Now he does have some significant differences when you look at him from the front. And that one's not very good. Like, we have to go a little bit further back. And then you can really start to see where no, I don't want to. Fine. I am on Instagram, but I don't post any trading related stuff, so I wouldn't bother going and following me. Okay, so you can kind of see his hairline there. So he has a widow peak, which I definitely don't have. And like I said, his chin is a little bit different. But so when you look at him from the front, you definitely, well, you know, like these sunglasses, I definitely don't look good with sunglasses like those. But I was a little disappointed here because I was like, oh, I finally found my model doppelganger. So now all I need to do is just wear all of the cool clothes that he wears and I'll always look great, right? But then, like, what is he actually wearing? A tank top. Okay, he does wear a button-up shirt and suit a lot. Okay, but then it's like plain tank top. It's like there's nothing interesting about, you know. Oh, look, a t-shirt and jeans. That's what I wear.
Gary Rich says, Seth, can you rock a bikini?
Can I rock a bikini? You mean like this? You mean like this? I think I totally could. Totally. Listen, I'm not a huge guy. No, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, like, if we look at my arm, okay, obviously, I mean, there's a little bit of bicep there, but is it really that impressive? Not really. It's really not that impressive. I just don't build tons of muscle. I'm a really lean guy. I think that if I was working out my chest, I could maybe kind of get that kind of look. But I probably still wouldn't be as big as him, you know? I'd also have to go on a diet, I think. I don't go too extreme on the diet because I'm more concerned about losing weight. You know, not being able to keep the weight on.
Sergio Ortega says, ha 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 ha. Uzi Knesset says, better than my doppelganger.
Is better than your doppelganger? Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, where's my wife here?
Uzi Knesset says, fucking Stanley Kubrick, the early years lol.
Stanley Kubrick, the early years? Okay, so like... I'm posted like this. Hopefully it'll let me see it like that. Okay, cool. So here's my wife. So
Ace Trade says my doppelganger is an old catcher's mitt that was left out in the rain.
So where was Amanda? Amanda's not like terribly different, right? They both have brown hair at least.
Gary Rich says need to get on the HGH, test, PEDS, etc. Go the rock way. The rock ISNT on roids.
But can you see my wife's cheeks? See, I like it. It's kind of interesting how there's like I think over time I've noticed that it's like, okay, there are ideas about what you see in TV and everything that is like considered attractive that imprints on your brain. But then as you get older and you start to realize how many different types of people there are out there, and you realize, well, this particular thing really has absolutely nothing to do about what a person is really
Ace
like.
Trade
So why
says,
do we care
respectfully
about it?
speaking, the wife is a smoke show.
Right? Thank you very much. So society likes a high cheekbone where the cheek is like up here, right? But my wife kind of has more of a rosy cheeks, which is also kind of nice, don't you think? She always looks pleasant. That's the thing. Even if she doesn't have any makeup on, she always looks pleasant. I've seen some girls. Oh man, there was this one girl I dated. I really, really liked her.
Popularity Matters says, you found your future self. Ask your wife if she wants you to be more like him.
Right? I
Ace
think
Trade
that I'm
says, get her off of there before she sees it.
right. I think I showed her this the other day and she was like, at first she was like not impressed. But the more I showed her, the more she was like, actually he does kind of look like you. But she's anyways. But they both have brown hair at least. So we could maybe play it off like we were them. Like I bet you if we went to a club and we said, hey, this is Amanda Shern, my wife Amanda Sherney and I'm Johannes Bartel. I could, in Vegas and they didn't really know who they are and they pulled us up on Instagram and they'd be like, oh yeah, okay, that is you. Right? Now I don't think here's another thing if I'm just to say, I'll tell you the thing about my wife. Can I see, where is she? I need a better picture of Amanda here. No. Come on, she has an Instagram. Why did it go put that in there? I hate it when it inserts stuff in there for you.
Ace Trade says, yeah, nothing like getting kicked out of a club in Vegas for impersonating a semi-famous person.
Is that her? I think that's her, yeah. We need more of a... No, that one's not very good either. We need like a close-up shot of her face. She doesn't take very close shots, does she? Maybe that one? Yeah, sure. I mean, I can't really tell what color her eyes are there. I can't really tell. Maybe that one. They look like they're kind of like darkish. They look kind of brownish. Yeah, they're like in there you can see they're brownish. Okay, just kind of a normal thing, but look at my wife's eyes. Holy crap, man. She's got the greenest eyes you will ever see. It's like, I think that's part of why I said it. She seems like she's just like a really agreeable person. Like everybody that meets her, and even if she doesn't say anything, they can't help but like her. She's not exactly like a very outgoing person per se. Not that she's shy, but she's just not like incredibly outgoing. But the green eyes, man, everybody loves the green eyes, and that is the green eyes thing. That is like my number one thing. It was.
Uzi Knesset says, if you image search Stanley Kubrick, there's a picture of him looking off to the side with his hand near his chin. Legit near 100% match to me, lol.
Okay, let's see here. Stanley Kubrick. Images. Really? Okay, well, so first of all, he's got hair, so that doesn't fit very well, does it?
Popularity Matters says, your wife is pretty and has a nice soft feminine look, adorable.
Right. Oh, that's another
Wrong
thing.
ZH says, beautiful couple. Uzi Knesset says, second row, second from left.
Second row, second for this one right here. Well, I could maybe kind of see if it's hard for me to tell because, he's got a much higher beard and he's got more hair on his head. Although his hair pattern is pretty similar to mine. Maybe if I grew it out, maybe I will look like that. I think you might be right. That one's a pretty good find too. So when they came down here to 09.5, it just distributed again. I don't know. But we're just going to let that E-mini open up and
Gary
let
Rich
it do
says,
its
I have a
thing.
frog with green eyes. Can I send it for the added petting zoo you're building at home? Uzi Knesset says, if I don't sleep for a month and gained 45 pounds, I'd look like the others, lol.
So my wife, did I tell you guys the story of the rat? I did not tell you guys about the rat. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you about the rat. My gosh, I know this is going to be like a huge leap,
Popularity Matters says, I missed 30 ticks in Crude dorking around with a new platform.
Oh man, is Crude moving again today? Ooh, yes it is. I tell you what, man, if the CME creates a micro Crude, that is going to completely change our space, man. I mean, micro Crude would be a really interesting opportunity for new traders. I'm not sure how I would approach it, but I think we would have to at least try it, right? Anyways.
Ekareo says, what platform?
Oh yeah, and what platform are you using? I'd like to know. Of course, messing around with a new platform always sucks, right? It's probably, I would say you changing platforms. Just don't plan on taking many trades for like a week. Anyways, while we're waiting, the rat story. Okay, so it was like it must have been the week before last week. And it was one of the days that I stayed home, and I got out, and the kids and my wife are all like uppity about something, and they're downstairs, and I go downstairs, and in the window well there is a huge rat. I mean, it was like that big. Okay, it's not the biggest rat that's ever existed, but it was a much larger rat than I ever expected to see in Utah. Okay, it was a big rat. And this rat is just running around in circles in the window well. Like, how do you get stuck in a window well? Good grief, stupid creature. Aren't rats all about like being able to climb up things and getting into places that should be difficult for them to get into? And he gets trapped in a window well? Like, come on. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go kill it. And that very, very much upset them. So my wife had to go. I was watching the kids that day. That's why I was staying home. She went off to work. But she was like, you don't know what it's like to kill things. Well, okay, I have killed things, but I don't talk about it. She talks about when she killed things. Like, she used to have a lot of mice in her old home, and she would catch them on those sticky pads, and then you had to kill it or let it starve. And she didn't want to let it starve, so she would kill them. And that was very traumatizing for her. She also told me a story about one time she was at girls' camp, and there was a frog, and the frog had its legs eaten off or something like that. Like a girl accidentally stepped on it, and its legs came off. and so they were all too scared. So she went back into the shower at girls' camp and picked it up and took it outside, and then she put it on a rock, and she said that this frog just looked up at her like, oh, thank you so much for taking me out here. And then she killed it with a rock to put it out of its misery, because it was just like, it just had its front legs. It was just kind of crawling around on its belly, and she felt bad for it. So she euthanized it. And that was very traumatizing for her. So that's why that reminded me of that. You're talking about my wife and you were talking about frogs, and it reminded me of that story. So she's like, you don't know what it's like to kill things. And if I had killed that rat, like, the kids would be a little bit upset. I mean, it was a big rat, right? Like we're talking about cutting its head off. It would not have been pretty. Here comes the E-mini. I find frogs in the backyard. Got to keep them from the dogs, so I toss them in the snapping turtle tank. There you go. I forgot that you have a snapping turtle. That's right. We would all be momentum dorks in microcrude. You're probably right. I mean, I would probably lose a lot of money trading crude. I know that much. Anyways, so there's a rat in the window well, and I'm not allowed to kill it. So I go and I find a long piece of wood and I stick it down the window well and put it at an angle, and it should be enough of an angle that the frog should be able to climb out, right? Well, it goes up the piece of wood a little bit, and then it jumps out. I'm testing CTS again. I may love him more than TT. Really? Oh, I'm going to have to check that out then. Because you're the first person. I'm familiar with CTS, but you're the first person I've heard talking about using it. Okay. So I get this piece of wood out, and the stupid rat won't come out. It'll go up a little bit, and then it won't come out. And I'm just sitting here like, you are a really dumb rat. Like, there must be something wrong with it, right? Maybe it had been poisoned or something like that. It just wasn't acting right, you know? So eventually I go downstairs and I open up the window well and I start, and I try and get my dogs to bark at it. Okay. And because I have, I have terriers. And they were the biggest pussies. I'm like, are you kidding me, guys? Like, this whole breed of dog exists to chase small pests like mice and rats. This is why you exist, okay? You sit in my house, you eat food, you lay around, they're not energetic dogs, they don't play with you. Sadie, the girl, she is just dumb, okay? She is the most obedient dog, and she loves to sit and cuddle with you, but she is dumb, okay? You can't tell her to sit, it's the only thing she understands is go to her cage, and she loves you tell her to go to her cage, and she sits right over there, okay? But they're afraid of a effing rat, so I have to bark. So I start barking at the rat, and eventually it climbs up out of the window well. So then I go upstairs to see if it left the yard, because I don't want a rat in my yard, and it's just sitting there hiding against the side of the house next to the window well. So I go over there and try and chase it out of the yard, and it goes and it falls into another window well. Like, what the heck is wrong with this thing? Now, this window well had stairs in it, so I said, okay, fine, I'm going to catch it. So I went and I got a bucket, and I put the bucket down in the window well on its side, and then I took a stick and kind of was like chasing the rat around with a stick, and eventually the rat went into the bucket. And then I just used the stick to push the bucket over the rat. And that's how I caught it. So it was a dumb rat. Like, it must have been something wrong with it. I used to let them starve and die in the outside garbage can on the sticky pad. I'm a monster. You are a monster. Man. Escarrejo, they are not coming out with a micro oil, but there is a petition going around. If you go to Future Trader 71's Twitter, you can find the link for it. Highly recommend that you guys all go and sign that if you haven't. So I catch this rat in a bucket, and there's a big field. I mean, we're pretty close to the mountain, so I walk 2 blocks away and kind of close to my parents' house, and go to let this rat out. And one of my daughters came with me. One of my stepdaughters came with me. So we take this rat up to the top of the hill, and I take the bucket off of it. Because it was like a bucket and a cardboard box, and that's how I was holding it together and keeping it in there. So I take the bucket off, and it sits there in the cardboard box and stares at us for like 2 seconds, and then it jumps out of the box, kind of towards us, runs right between us, and then runs down the hill. And it hits that it was like a hill there, almost. Well, not. I mean, if I fell down it would hurt. Okay, so this rat tumbles down the hill. And he hits the hill and then runs off. Hits the hill and run off. And the whole time I'm just thinking, I should have killed it. And I told my parents that because it was kind of close to my parents' house. And they're like, why didn't you kill it? They have the QM, which is an E-mini for oil, but the tick sucks. Yeah. No, a micro oil would be a big difference, right? Micro oil would be a big change. Anyways, so that's my rat story. I caught this rat. It's probably dead now. Should have just killed it. 2 ticks on the QM is 5 ticks on CL. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the whole idea is to have something that you can trade with 1/10 of the size. Popularity Matter says they are pampered brat dogs. Right. I'm wondering if maybe we're a little bit delayed here. I don't know. You can look at the clock and you can tell me. But I was just thinking there like that. Some of you commenting on something that I said like 2 minutes ago. But that's okay. They are pampered brat dogs, they are. Okay. Mickey, the older dog, he will just come up to you and start whining. I don't know why he does this. He thinks that like if he whines that he'll get a treat. I never give him a treat for whining, but he insists on doing it. Did you shake the rat's hand, give it a meal or health care? No. Nope, it just hightailed it out of there. It was a dumb rat for sure, but it did not want to be there. So I'm looking at this, and if I look at it, it says it's 36. So well, let's refresh it. Is this stream almost a minute delayed? How can that be? How can that be, guys? It is. Oh, now I refreshed it. Now it's okay. Now it's only 5 seconds. Okay, we're cool. Some of you guys might be delayed. I think that maybe I had a couple of, missed frames, and it might have lagged you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, the thing is, I'm thinking about oil, micro oil, versus micro E-mini. I'm thinking, well, on the E-mini, I know that there was one day where I lost like $100 or $200 on the E-mini. I think it was only $100, but it felt like a lot at the time. Now it doesn't seem like such a big deal. But I do remember that on the E-mini. And I'm thinking, oh man, what if I wasn't on the micros? So then I would think back to oil, and I'm like, well, I remember when I first started trading and I was trying to trade oil. And it was like I would lose $1,000 every day on sim. So if you started trading that micros, that's still like you're losing $100. So even if it was micro CL, that might even still be a little risky. Like I certainly wouldn't put beginning traders on it. So if you risk 20 ticks on CL, you are only risking 8 ticks on QM for the same thing. In other words, you are risking half. Yeah, half is not enough, because that's still like, a bad day would still, I would say that like what is the word? My risk limit on CL would be like $1,000 a day. And I think, well, it should maybe even be less than that. But so if you take half of that, that's still like a bad day is $500. That's still not enough for a micro product, So at that point, you get a micro product would definitely be useful for people, but I wouldn't be putting beginning traders on it still, It would just be good for, it would be good for people that are doing okay in the E-mini, but want something a little more exciting. Although I think the E-mini is plenty exciting, but or, people that just really want to lose money. Maybe. It would be great if they come up with a micro with the value of $1 per tick. Oh, yeah. Totally. Well, I mean, that's what the E-micro is, 125, right? So. It's close, but, the other thing that matters is how much it moves. I mean, like in the 10-year, if the 10-year was $1 per tick, it would be really hard to make very much money off of that. Maybe if there was no commission on it. Isn't Micro Russell $1 per tick? You might be right, Ace. But, if it was in the 10-year, I would totally do it that way too. Because to me, it's more like, just putting a little bit of money on the line, seeing how the market reacts to you and trading it. And I would trade as small as I could. But I like the way that the 10-year moves compared to the E-mini. Well, I like the way that oil moves compared to the E-mini too, to be honest, because to me, there's a little bit too much randomness in how E-mini moves. I did. I'm still in. I'm such a rule breaker. Screw me for being punked by the market. I took 60 when I initially had 200 in my scopes. Well, look, they come right back up. It was like, hey, when we said we could have taken 09.5. Okay. That would have been a really sucky trade, but it would have worked. Took 60 and was aiming for 250. Well, I'm sitting here wondering if I should have been long or I should be FOMOing into something right now. There's a decent reload at 11.5. But my take at the moment is that when I see iceberg orders like that, I don't necessarily want to get in on those. The market will kind of go in cycles in terms of how iceberg orders behave. But right now, it seems to me that if you see an iceberg, it's unlikely to be the edge. When you see an iceberg right now, that they tend to distribute around it. My friend grabs his quick moment to plays in CL and puts another order in QM and lets it run. Well, by the way, since it is 7:42, if you have not clicked that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. You hit the like button, and then, an hour after the broadcast or so, the video will show up as a processed video on the channel page, and I would really appreciate it. You come back, leave a comment with how you did for the day, or what you thought about the day's action. And this serves two purposes. First of all, the engagement and the comments on the video makes a big difference to the YouTube algorithm, right? So we want to grow the channel. Getting more comments on videos makes a big difference. And number two is that then when we're looking back on the video for historical purposes, we get a little bit better idea of what was going on that day, right? So we have all these comments to see what people did. Otherwise, it's just a video, and it's like if I'm looking for something specific, I have to look through like 10 different days to figure out which day was the day that did that thing that I'm looking for, So I always leave a comment afterwards, so come back and leave a comment. I appreciate it. There's a couple of likes. Thank you guys very much. And I kind of see the numbers fluctuating between like 18 and 22, so I apologize if you guys are having trouble like having to refresh the page or something. I do see I have 119 missed frames today. I don't know what causes that. I'm wondering if it was the switch over to the different codec. Maybe I should try doing it with CPU encoding one of these days. That probably would be okay. But I would like to get a new video card, but I was looking. Here's my thing. I was like, I got to get a good deal. And I just don't think that we can get a good deal on that. I don't think that there's going to be many 1660s out on sale this Christmas, unfortunately. It's their brand new card. Their 20 is pulling, 12 is pulling like they're just going to go right through it. Okay. Sure. Now, there was a big order in the 5-year, but it looks like they're pushing through that as well. Well, I'm hesitant to take a trade here because it's still the amount of activity that I'm seeing on the level 2 is really low, actually. They are making new highs in cumulative delta, though. Well, no, sorry. They're not making new highs in cumulative. There's a significant divergence. Let's take a picture of that and post that on Discord. The 30-year went up higher, though. Maybe if we're moving up, I suppose the 30-year would tend to lead a little bit. They're still not the high of the session. E-mini is coming into a liquidity zone. So this, if we're just trading off of the E-mini, this might not be the best location because there's a potential turn here in the E-mini coming up. See how they react to that. So they've arrested Epstein's guards. They're going to arrest anyone they can at the bottom, but forget about Prince. I don't sweat. Oh, you know what? I haven't been reading all these. We should just...
Popularity Matters says CL is your 19 years old GF, ZN is your stable wife of 20 years. Have both live a little. Popularity Matters says Trump, the Clintons and royal family put the hit on Epstein. Michael XZ says CL is fast and loose. Gary Rich says at Michael CL is like my women. Popularity Matters says my comment at the end of the day might be CL gave me an STD and left me broke, should have been loyal to my wife, disappointed face.
That's my take on CL, man. Listen, so when I first started trading oil, I remember this one day, this one trade. We're in a range in oil and we're moving down. We're just a little bit past the middle of the range and we're starting to head down towards the bottom half of the range. And then all of a sudden, the first 4 inside levels on both the bid and the offer disappeared. So like everybody's getting ready to lean the other way on this thing. And then all of this liquidity just disappears. And it was the weirdest thing because you could see the whole market pause like, what just happened? Like everybody's confused, you know? And I saw that and I was like, that's not supposed to happen. I think I should sell it. So I sold it, and then a split second later, they just went. I mean, it was something else. And that was like one of those like 50-cent dollar moves in oil. Oh man, it went. It really went. And that was like maybe my first really great trade. Maybe my first really great trade. And I thought I was so good. Well, I don't know if I thought I was so good, but I was really proud of the trade. I was like, look, I saw this trade and the market did something crazy with level 2 and I correctly interpreted it and was able to take a trade before everybody else did and made and did well with it. It was on sim, but of course, you know, I was proud of it, right? But I'm telling you, man, oil, she is nasty. She is vindictive. She doesn't like it when you take money from her. And it was like after that trade, like the next week, every day, minus 1,000. Like I was hitting like my hard stop limit, like literally every day. It was so bad. It's like you don't know what you don't know, you know? And oil is not a good instrument to learn from in that respect, because you could have significant success there and not learn a lot of the things that you learn in the 10-year, you know? And so you think that you're really great, and then the market changes on you and you just get decimated. And I've seen so many people have that problem. And I mean, make no joke. I'm not saying you can't make money off of CL and don't trade it. I'm just saying for advanced traders only. Because she's a crazy one. Yeah, that oil.
Popularity Matters says, yeah, I need to build a desktop for trading and video editing. I only use a laptop and watch my infotainment stuff on my tablet to the side as I trade. I want to build a beast of a machine. Ace Trade says at Popularity Matters, lots of videos out there showing great desks to build and setups for trading.
Yeah. So I've written a script for a video about my trading setup because my data shows that those are really popular things. And that was one of the things that drive me nuts the most when I was watching other videos. Is so many of these videos were like, here's my new trading setup. Look, I got this laptop. And I'm like, what? You're going to trade with a laptop? Man, I mean, it works. You can do it. But just remember, guys, a laptop is built to reduce power consumption, to extend battery life. And so if you're trading futures and Donald Trump tweets something and a huge flood of orders comes through, your laptop is not going to handle it and is not going to be as responsive as your desktop is going to be. So you can totally trade with a laptop for sure. And I wouldn't feel ashamed if that's what you happen to have and that's what you're trading. But if you're going to build the trading machine, you're going to put a little bit of money into your trading setup, I would highly, highly, highly recommend getting a desktop machine with a desktop processor. And that was one of the first things, was that everywhere that I was looking, they wanted to trade with laptops. And I'm just like, well, why don't you just install Robinhood on your phone and let that be your trading setup if that's... I'm such a snob. I'm such a snob. You have to make a distinction between a real laptop and an Ultrabook. That might be true. Because the thing is some of these laptops, I always did this with DJing. Okay, so I had a laptop. I don't remember. It was like some HP that I had bought for school, and I tried DJing with it, and it didn't work because you would get audio dropouts. The DPC latency on that particular machine was not good. So this is how you would test it: is go find a DPC latency checker. And in fact, I think I have one. I think I could show you guys. I think, maybe I don't have it since I've reinstalled. Let's see here. Where would I have put it? Maybe if I just search here, DPC let exe. Okay, so here's the DPC latency checker. Okay. So my current latency right now is about 1,000 milliseconds, or sorry, 1,000 microseconds. Okay. Which is about, 1 millisecond. Right. Hold on. There are a ton of comments.
Popularity Matters says, Ace, I'm thinking about going Ryzen with a modest GPU.
There you go.
I've seen some good Ryzen APU builds as well for only around 450 to 600. Ace Trade says at Popularity Matters, those sound good. I think part of the fun would be the build. Popularity Matters says, I can trade on a 13.5 laptop with a high-res screen. I just want screen real estate for the BS I don't really need, and more power for video editing. But I know some pros who only use a laptop. Ace Trade says at Popularity Matters, although I do like that guy who sells trading computers, easy computers. Ace Trade says, be back later.
So what was that? Is there a tweet? I don't see it. Let's keep an eye on it. While that's going, DPC latency checking. Okay, so that's in microseconds. Generally speaking, you want it to be below 1,000 microseconds. There's 1,000 microseconds in a millisecond, right? So that's a pretty small time frame. But if you're getting spikes, above 1,000, or you're getting spikes especially above 10, then that is where you are going to get like audio dropouts and stuff. So that's like if you were watching YouTube, you might hear you might get choppiness when you're watching YouTube, for instance. And that can happen on a lot of laptops. If it's not like a gaming, multimedia geared laptop, right? So if you have a laptop and you want to know how reasonable is my laptop for day trading, then I would check the DPC latency, because that is essentially like, okay, if something happens and there's a big spike, how big of a delay is it going to give to me? And if you're getting like a quarter of a second delay, that's enough to screw you up. So yeah, and especially when you're getting all the data coming in, that's where you really do want the processor that can handle it. They're pushing back down. I don't know what the deal here is. They might just be turning around because the E-mini kind of turned. Like the E-mini has returned to the overnight open / previous day's close, and maybe bouncing off of it. So maybe that's all the excitement there was today. Anyways, popularity matters. Yes, or I can read it out.
Popularity matters says I need a backup internet solution and power supply. Popularity matters says depends on the CPU with a laptop. My Alienware 17 was pretty beastly of a laptop. Not a desktop level quad core, but laptop quads are pretty good.
Yep. And if you are running on a laptop, make sure that you put it on the high performance power mode, because that's what'll kill your latency, right? Is when your CPU goes into a lower power mode to save power. And if you turn it off of performance saving or whatever, if power saving and you change it to performance, then it won't do that. So that's how I would deal with a laptop. But then, yeah, when I was looking around, that was the other thing that really irked me, was okay, everybody shows the cool setup with the monitors. Okay, I have a pretty good monitor setup. I gotta tell you, it's okay. I honestly kind of, in retrospect, I think that maybe it was more trouble than it's worth, but I'm happy that I have it now. And for me, I really need it because I need another screen to be able to read from you guys and stuff on, right? There's all this focus on that. And then it's the thing that matters. Battery backup. Guys, if you don't have battery backup, get battery backup. I have one upstairs here for my computer. Make sure that you have one that's big enough to support your whole rig, right? If you're trading with 3 monitors, then make sure that your battery backup can power all 3 of your monitors, okay? And you might say, well, I only actually need 1 monitor to actually trade, so it's okay if the other 2 turn off. Well, okay, fine, but realize that when that happens, your screens are going to flicker and readjust, and all of the windows are going to get pushed into one window, and it's still going to interrupt your trading. So I would just make sure that you have backup for all 3 of your monitors and everything that's going on. So you want a big enough one to handle that. And if you go to APC's website, they actually have some great utilities to help you calculate that and figure out which power supply you need. And then you need one for your network, because that's all useless if you lose your internet connection during the blackout, right? You want to impress me, show me a really nice battery backup and some good cable management. I have the battery backup, but I can't for the life of me get the cables all fixed. It's just it's hard. It's hard with a battery backup.
Gary Rich says it's hard to travel with a desktop. Laptops are good for traveling.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is that a lot of the setups were here's my traveling setup, and I'm if you're gonna scalp, probably you don't want to do it when you're traveling, but maybe for some people that's you have no choice. But I would suggest that you be in a place where you're comfortable, right? That's the thing that's going to matter the most to your setup, is how comfortable your setup is. If you're cramped down in this teeny little screen on a laptop, and that's just not going to work. How do you sit and do that for hours? That is going to give your neck a kink, right? It's much better to have a full desktop, nice chair. That's what matters the most, is being comfortable, and then battery backup. And then you can worry about things like how many screens you have and stuff like that. But I do have something written up where we kind of talk about that sort of stuff, and I'll go through all of the individual pieces of the stuff that I have. Since I have a ton of stuff that's not really for trading, but is maybe still interesting to see that you got. Go big and buy a 50-inch TV for a screen. Yeah, well, they make some pretty good 32-inch screens now that you can use as a computer screen now. I don't know what that would be like, but sure sounds interesting. Right, you have to have a power profile that is geared towards performance. Exactly. Sorry, I think we're a little delayed popularity. You might want to refresh. It's my fault. It's my fault, guys. I don't know if my video card is breaking or what. We just need to, well, I don't know. We might, maybe, I think that to buy a video card, I think that today I might be able to get the camera. So I want to get the camera, and then after we get the camera, we might be able to build the sign. I think we're going to build the sign behind us. And in the meantime, we can, if you guys use Super Chat. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Not that you would ever use this, but just for the heck of it, you can use stickers now. So yesterday, YouTube enabled stickers for everybody, or at least for us. So now you can do stickers. The stickers that are available are like super retarded, but they're there, so you can do those. If it costs like $1. There are some stickers in there. It's like a $50 sticker. I'm like, what? That's not cool enough to pay $50 to put in chat. But the Super Chat, if you do a donation in Super Chat, until we get a light board behind us, it will go in the marquee in the bottom. And for now, I'm just going to do it manually. But when we get a chance here to do a little bit of programming, we could have done it today, but I would rather talk and watch this market. We're going to make it automatic. So I think what we're going to do is like it'll show the last 5 Super Chat messages will go into the scroll at the bottom. So I think that could be fun, because then you can put, whatever kind of funny news headline that you want in there. And that would actually be giving you value for using a Super Chat. I think that would be really cool. So with the camera, be able to see more of the room, and then you'd be able to actually see the screen behind us. And, so that's why that comes first. But then like a new video card to try and fix this issue with a few dropped frames per stream, I think we're going to have to wait a couple of months, probably after the baby comes around, right? So it might not be until like next summer. Because depending on the form of scalp, most people aren't flipping the bid offer. Most mean that they're taking momentum pops. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that's the thing is like for the way that I trade, I feel like that a spike of more than a quarter of a second is a problem. More than a quarter of a second is a problem. Standing desk rocks the world for trading? I don't know if I could trade standing, to be honest. I think I need to sit. Well, they came back a little bit and they're pushing up again, and the E-mini continues to sell through the opening range. So now the E-mini is in a spot where they could really start to sell. We could potentially take another trade. I see the opportunity for them to maybe go to 4.5. Don't like 13 though. It's also a little sketchy because you would think that they would be able to just tick right through there if they were trading like that. Nope. That turned a little too easily. I would have gotten the fill for sure. That didn't seem right. 12? There's got a 3,000 on it? Another UK election poll shows Conservatives with a commanding lead. Also, who shishin if President Trump... Oh, you guys should play it with the... Let's do it with the robot here, okay? Did I do the command right?
Speculator says LF President Trump believes China's economy is crumbling and Beijing will eventually make decisive concessions. Speculator says he has to wait until Ivanka becomes the president to sign trade deal with China. Chinese economy continues to grow with strong consumption. People are optimistic.
Okay. That's some real propaganda there coming from the Chinese, man. The 30-year is showing some really strong trend. I'm not actually seeing the knob like push down like a ton though. It's actually kind of mostly flat through this. That's kind of weird. UK election poll gives Conservative Party an 18-point lead over Labour. Oh man. Get rid of Corbyn, man. And tell you what, listen. If you're a liberal, you live in the UK. I'm not a liberal, but if you live in the UK and you're a liberal, I'm telling you, that Corbyn guy alone is really hurting you. Just get rid of that guy and you might rise like 10 points. He's crazy. Well, I think I missed a good opportunity there. I didn't actually see a signal per se, but it was a good price.
Wrong ZH says I have trouble watching stream. Popularity Matters says sitting is bad for your health. I mix standing and sitting with my standing desk.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. I really do need to get a new video card. I think tomorrow I'll try changing things. We'll see if using a different codec changes it. Like I can come in here. I've been using because I don't think that we had these problems before. If it's not that, then maybe there's something with the internet connection. Maybe I need to pay for the better internet connection. But I'm thinking here on the video, actually it is this one right here. You know, maybe I need to switch the encoder back to CPU or something. Sitting is bad for your health. I mix sitting and standing with my standing. Well, that's true. It's true. I say sit when you're trading and then, stand the rest of the day. And make sure you take a walk. It's really bad for your posterior chain to sit all day. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't think that we've gotten any more spikes. I don't know if it's just like the video card just kind of like poops out or something. But we haven't had one in a while, so you might just, you refresh the page once and that should probably fix it. Okay, so they do end up hitting into 12 there. Well, this sell in the E-mini has been pretty orderly so far. See, it's like...
Wrong ZH says how you doing it, Uzi.
And did Uzi take another trade? Jail employees arrested after Jeffrey Epstein's death. I was heard from somebody that they had that they were given a plea deal and they rejected it. So I wonder what's happening with that. It's gonna be interesting. Anyways, what was I? Oh, I was talking about the video card. Oh, the whole thing with the video card though was we're gonna get that camera, and then that might give you guys can have some fun with the super chats, and then we can use that money to get a card. But I have to be careful because my wife isn't gonna be working, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit more. I'm gonna have to use some of this a little bit. I think we should be fine though. Should be fine. But I just $200, $300 video card right now. The time does not necessarily make sense. If we can do without it, I think that we would be much better for us to do that. And I don't know why
Wrong
it does.
ZH says stream became better just now. Did you change something?
No, it
Greg
did
Orlovsky
really.
says Home Depot, Kohl's not having a good day. It's been hard sitting out while the ES trickles down. Waiting for any direction change.
I also wonder, has it been worse the last 30 minutes? So another thing that we could check here is check our router. What does the router say?
Popularity Matters says nah, I like standing while trading.
I'm using a pretty decent amount of the connection. Popularity Matters, you should
Popularity
refresh.
Matters says it keeps me fresh.
I think you're like a minute delayed. I think you should refresh the page. Yeah, it's not doing too bad. Let's just keep this down here and watch it for a second and see. Probably don't need this. Not that it matters what the password is to get into my local network if you want to come over and get on the Wi-Fi. See, we're using like 10 of it from time to time.
Wrong ZH says you should try cardio lol.
I think that upload is like the max that I can do. Can I only do 5? Because I'm pumping like 4. I'm pumping 4. I should look at how much it is. See if we can do it or not. It would be better, but I'm trying to control costs here, guys. Oh, I just want to spend money. Oh, it's so bad. It's okay. They came back down. I'm really glad that I didn't take that. And still some iceberging, so still just distribution in this area. I think that I caught the good trade, and here's Futures Trader 71 tweeting again about the microcrude. Let me give you his link, okay? So, if you haven't signed this link, please do so. Also, if you haven't clicked the like button, go ahead and click that like button. I appreciate it. It helps the channel out immensely. Those likes and those comments on the video afterwards really help the engagement. And the channel's been doing good. I think the changes that we've made to the stream have really helped us in the YouTube algorithm. But if we really want to take off, we're probably going to need more comments before the algorithm, takes notice. I think we're in a good spot. We have data seems to indicate that we've got good content and everything, and that you guys are engaged and that what we're doing is worthwhile. So thank you guys all for tuning in and helping. We should probably keep an eye on this, huh? Okay, so just as I'm watching, there it is.
Gary Rich says all of these MKTS are giving up the gains.
Yeah, everything's reverting a little bit, isn't it? it's
Wrong ZH says we have some guys they go for a jogging and leave their trade station.
Yeah, that could be. I understand. Some of you might have it on a different window, and it's like in the background, and you don't want to pull up the other window and click the like button. But when you do so, it really helps. So I appreciate it. See, it's given me this. So like when I come over here, it says excellent connection. But then every once in a while it will show not. So I'm wondering if I'm just having, brief network hiccups, And I'm not doing like the full gigabit connection, but I could do the full gigabit connection now, but I don't know if that would actually make the stream better or not. And it's probably like $50 more. If it's only like $20 more, then we should do it. If it's only like $20 more, then we should do it. But I should be careful because I don't want to give out the impression that it's like, oh, I don't have enough money.
Wrong ZH says it's running smooth now. Okay,
cool. Because I have a day job. I'm quite happy with my day job. The money that I've been putting into the stream has been paying for itself. Like we make money from the advertising, and then I use that to do stuff to make things better for you guys. It would be nice to do a video card, but I don't know if right now that really makes sense. I should probably be saving up the change that we get right now for the future, because I don't know how this whole baby thing and the wife not working is going to work out, because she's only going to be making disability for the next bit of time, and everything based on my calculations says we should be fine, but it sure makes me nervous. And I think in a situation like that, it's probably better for me to only do like the bare minimum. I feel like the camera thing is something that would help a lot, because then I could do, like, maybe you could do the politics channel, for instance. But otherwise, I don't know if the video card one is worth it. It might not actually fix the problem. You know what I mean? And plus, how many signups do they need to make the CME pay attention? How does the petition site work? Is the CME aware of this petition? Good question. So Futures Trader 71 works with the CME and talks to them all the time. Okay, so I just saw a little bit of a dip in my upload speed. So is that... No, I'm still saying excellent connection. Oh, I don't know. Anyways. So he works with the CME, so he definitely has the ability to see it. How many would it take to make them pay attention? Who knows? How many do they have? Paste it again. Change.org. How many do? 1,216 have signed. 220. Man, it's going up as I'm watching. That might be fake. I think that might be fake. I think that's just there to get you to be like, oh, it's happening. We're changing the future. I better sign up as quickly as possible so it keeps going up. I don't think that all of those people are actually signing up at the moment. It says 2 minutes ago that people signed up. Yeah, it's got to be fake. It's lying. Oh, see, it got to 12:37 and then it stopped counting up. Them sly dogs. So if there was 1,000 people trading micro crude, is that enough from a business perspective to get the CME to add it? I don't know. All I can say, though, is that if you're a retail trader, you should sign the petition and we'll see how many people we get. And maybe they'll take notice. I think that they might do it. The E-mini has been, the E-micro rather, has been so successful. I think that they'll do it. I really do. So, worth trying at least, right? So sign the petition. Sign the petition. Oh my gosh, you know what? I wanted to do something today and I totally forgot. I wanted to record the video separately so that I could upload it to Facebook, and I forgot. Did everything else but that. Well, tomorrow. Got to remember tomorrow. I'm told that you can actually get a lot of views from Facebook videos. So, and I think that a lot of our audience is on Facebook. So, which by the way also means if you haven't added or liked Speculator Seth on YouTube, go ahead and check that out. And maybe we can start creating more content over there to kind of expand the community. Okay, so that was a significant tick up and a significant tick down, and there's just a lot trading at 11.5. So a significant distribution at 11.5 still. That does not necessarily speak to higher. That kind of suggests more that the market thinks that the major move is over and that people are taking profits or just kind of fiddling around. At least in recent context, that's kind of what it's meant. So when you see an iceberg, they tend to distribute around the iceberg instead of the iceberg being the edge. So, by the way, how's Bitcoin doing? They're still selling, maybe? 80.95. Generate this. Johnson leads Corbyn by 18 points. I do see tweets coming through, but nothing like significant. More stuff about Brexit. More stuff about impeachment. Is Ivanka before or after Don Jr.? Referring to who? Essentially, who's saying that China is not going to make decisive concessions and that it would be that they would wait until after his second term. Well, you know what? Well, let's see if you're saying the same tune when all of the tariffs get doubled. It would be really ugly if come December 15th, those tariffs go into effect, Mr. Who. It would be very unfortunate for everyone. And here's the thing. China cannot continue to... let me collect my thoughts here. I want to be able to say something forceful, you know? Give the political speech. No. Look, the situation that China has with the West is not sustainable. The West is not going to allow China to continue to steal our intellectual property. It is a critical component of how Western economies work, and we consider it theft. We consider it theft, and it's not going to be allowed to stand. Donald Trump was the first person crazy enough to take this on because, of course, there's a lot of money invested in this trade relationship, and that money is going to do everything they can to avoid rattling the boat. But now that it has happened and it has been done, the cat is out of the bag, man. Pandora's box has been opened, and Trump is not going to be the last person to talk about this thing, okay? The voters in the United States are going to continue to push this issue because we're being stolen from, okay? And I think that you're going to start to see other countries start to say the same thing, especially with all of this information that we're coming out about all of the absolutely atrocious war crimes that are being perpetuated in China. Or are we calling them war crimes? I mean, technically they're not at war, but I mean, listen, they're committing genocide in China. Straight up, it is genocide. Okay. And the whole Western world is just kind of sitting around because you make money. I heard somebody in one of the threads for the whole Hong Kong protests, and they were saying, money is useless without freedom. I agree with that person. So, who says he would have to wait until Ivanka becomes president to sign a trade deal with China? Maybe. If that's how stubborn China is going to be on it, then so be it. But it's going to happen one way or another because the current situation is not sustainable. And my question to the Chinese is, how long are you willing to suffer before you give up on it? Okay? Because it's not like if you give the Americans their intellectual property rights, it's not the end of the world for you, okay? It actually, following those rights, I think that it would be beneficial for China itself, okay? It would be beneficial for the world because of the trade. And I think that we would be able to have better relationships with China. It would help everybody to make this deal. But instead, they want to sit and just be stubborn for the sake of being stubborn or because of some internal pride thing or something. It's just, to me, really dumb. To me, it's just really dumb. And if my recommendation to China is to just give up on the intellectual property and forced technology transfers thing. Do what the Western countries do and do it now and save yourself a ton of grief. It's funny because who tweeted that a bunch a while ago and I didn't say anything too much about it when he tweeted it, but now I'm thinking about it and it's just like, okay. Trying to make a trade deal. China's still playing this game like they think that we're going to make a deal without China actually giving anything up. It's not going to happen that way. Listen, even if Donald Trump lost this election, the next president wouldn't be able to come in there and just give them everything. It wouldn't work. People would be so pissed. And the markets nobody would take him seriously after that. So I think that Chinese are kind of underestimating the predicament that they have in here. How much more stress can they actually take? A question to ask yourself. And yeah, it would hurt everybody. Yeah, some more tariffs in December. Oh, you thought last December was bad, man? New tariffs, it could be ugly. Hey, but you know what? That would mean that the Federal Reserve would maybe cut again. That would be nice. Unfortunately, we people don't make or set rules, and nothing changes no matter what. Governors won't listen. That's unfortunate, wrong. I understand. I whenever we talk about these sorts of things, I'm always thinking about you, man, because I'm like, it is a sensitive situation over there, and I don't want to put anybody under undue stress. But you're right. It's wrong. It's like, there's a group of people in the world, and it's not just in China, but it happens everywhere. There's a group of people that seems to think that they are smarter than everybody else and that they should be in charge of everything. And it's just causes a lot of problems. Most of our questionable buddies ignore war crimes from our trade partners. Yeah. Well, listen, the world's not perfect. And I wouldn't expect every country in the world to be as moral or well, I can't say that the United States is like the perfect, like moral in every case. Okay, we have our own problems too. Everybody's going to have their problems, okay? But one place in which I think that you have to put a foot down is genocide, okay? And what they are doing out there in China is genocide. And I kind of sit down and look at it and I'm like, okay, if they don't do anything about it now, Who's next? You know what I mean? It's a little scary. It's a little scary to me. I don't know how you handle it, but my hope is that Hu Xixin seems like a smart guy to me. I would hope that he just, I don't know, sees the light. I don't know what else to say, you know? The place that the Treasury is trading at right now at 12, it's kind of making it look like, oh, hey, we could totally go up higher. And the E-mini is moving down again a little bit. But it's still kind of disappointing move. I don't know. Maybe after I leave, it just takes off or some news hits, but I like TT more, but T4 is the second best in the game, right? And remind me, Popularity Matters, you did try Jigsaw too, right? My recollection is you tried to get Jigsaw and you had some problems with it. I do say TT is from what I've seen, a really impressive platform. I would like to try it. I don't know, it would take a lot to get me to move off of Jigsaw, partly because I've already invested a lot into it. But it looks like a really fun platform. And the guys over at Trading Technology look like great guys. Like I would really like to get to talk to them, be buddies with them. We do have Patrick Rooney come in every once in a while. I don't think he's ever come on stream though. I would really like to get some of those guys on stream. Most Americans are for 301 tariffs. What we are not for is Trump's foolish talk around trade and costing farmers $18 billion in profits. Yeah, well, it is a lot of money. I didn't find this argument about who's paying for the tariffs really interesting, because my understanding is we added tariffs, so yeah, the government is adding $10 or whatever, like it's $100 good, and the government is then adding $10 to it. But then the Chinese devalue their currency to make the thing worth, cost $100 again. The government is still taking $10. So it's like the price of the good doesn't change, and the government takes some money out of it. And so they say, oh, it's the Americans, consumers that are paying for the tariff. And well, technically that's true because the cost is moved over to them. The one that actually is losing money from it, net money from it, because you're still paying $100. Person that loses net money is China. So that's my understanding of the issue. But this goes back and forth across in the media all the time. And I kind of suspect that neither side really wants to argue it out. Like I feel like that they want to keep the public in the dark about how this works because they don't like get into it. You know what I mean? But then Donald Trump claims that they're taking all of that money and they're using it for the farmer bailouts. I suspect, just based off of how things usually go in the government, that it's probably not so efficient. You know what I mean? But what else are you going to do? I mean, what is the alternative here, right? We can either do the tariffs, or we continue to allow China to steal from us. What do the farmers do with all the excess soybeans? I don't know. I really don't know, Michael. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day that went into how they harvest and store soybeans. It is actually, storing soybeans is not a simple thing, apparently. You have to keep them at a certain dryness. And so they build this big silo and it has a floor with holes in it so that they can blow air up through the soybeans to keep it the right temperature. And I assume that the soybeans don't keep forever. So at some point, I guess they sell it at a loss or they burn it, or I don't know. Certainly not good for the farmers though, is it? I have Jigsaw, but I like an all-in-one platform. I agree with you, Popularity Matters. Supposedly, Jigsaw is supposed to be adding charts. I would really like to see it. Of course, I would like to be able to program a little bit to do it, to get me to move off of NinjaTrader. But if I could only just open up one platform, I totally would do it. It's going to set up TT. It looks solid. Oh, wrong says I'm going to set up TT. It looks solid. Yeah. I'm telling you, trading, here's the thing. Start an interview series or bring in, the guys from Trading Technologies. I would like to do that. I don't know if we're at the level that we would need to be to do that sort of a thing yet. Like Anthony Crudelli, he does that kind of stuff. I think that's kind of the level that we would need to be to have the clout to get people to do that. Because if I went and reached out to them, and I don't think they would care, right? So, but maybe someday, hit that like button so that we can get there someday. Anyways, with Trading Technologies, remember that they were first, right? It used to be that if you wanted a DOM and you were a retail trader, you had to use TT, and it was crazy expensive. It was like something like $500 a month or something for the full platform, wasn't it? Now they've come down, obviously, because it's more accessible. But it used to be you could only get that through Trading Technologies. And then Jigsaw came along and they did the same thing but cheaper. And that's when the market kind of like diverted out. So TT was first, and they have always maintained the reputation for being the best. Absolutely. Okay, well, I maybe could have taken another buy in there somewhere, but it's past my time, so I'm not going to stress about it too much. What does that put us at? I think that just puts us at where we were before all of those bad losses. Let's see here. Yeah, not before like the big drop, but before things kind of started going south. So that'll put us at about 920. Yes, but we need a solution. Yeah. Well, I'm sure eventually we will get a solution. But part of the solution here is getting the Chinese to actually understand the situation, because there seems to be a cultural thing where they just don't get it. They don't understand. They think that this can just go on forever, and it's not going to work like that. People are only going to let you take advantage of them for so long, And it turns back down again. See, it just looks range bound. This trade right here, the one that we pointed out at 09.5, and I pointed it out because there was the spike in the 30-year, so that was a good buy signal. Okay, 09.5 to 12.5. That would have been a good 6 ticks. Could have taken 4 out of that one. That one would have been a good trade. I didn't like the time of day that it happened, because it was around the 7 o'clock hour. But the action since then kind of, confirms that we should have been cautious. I would have been careful about being in here and seeing it make a new high, and then I might have said, well, it comes back, and then maybe they'll make a new high. And, they never really did they? But who knows? Maybe there's some news lurking out there. All right, well, guys, I'll tell you what, it's probably time for me to get going. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hitting that like button. We got 8 likes. That's okay. I would like to get us to 15, so we're about 80% of the way. 80% of the way. We'll work on it. But hit that like button if you haven't already. And of course, be sure to come back, in an hour or so, find the video and comment on how you did on the video. Or we can continue some of these conversations that we're having about China and stuff, because I thought that they were really interesting conversations. So tomorrow is Wednesday, and Wednesday is always an interesting day trading, so that should be fun. I will see you guys then. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.